My name is Sheena Solomon. I was actually born in Chester, Pennsylvania, which is right outside of Philadelphia. My parents relocated to Ithaca, New York when I was 7. So I really grew up there in Ithaca, New York, graduated high school there, and then transitioned to Syracuse, New York to go to Bryant Stratton, actually, in 1995.
So Ithaca. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like for a place that's only 40 minutes away, I feel like that's a big difference of everything, like Syracuse or Ithaca.
Yeah, it is a big difference. Growing up in Ithaca was definitely different. Like when you're a kid, you don't know what you don't know, right? But when I was in high school, it felt different to me because my parents would take me back to Chester, Pennsylvania to visit family. So I definitely seen the difference between Ithaca and Chester, Pennsylvania, which is probably about 98% black community, to Ithaca that might be maybe 5%.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. So, school was different, interaction with people was different. And I was actually a teenage mom. I was pregnant in the 10th grade. So that made school slightly even more difficult because not only am I a minority, but now I'm also a pregnant teenager, right? That everybody just assumes that you're going to end up being nothing because, you're pregnant, right? So that made high school a little bit complicated, but I still graduated on time and everything and just decided to leave Ithaca because I didn't want to raise my son in that environment. I wanted him to see more people who looked like him or he had more opportunities. And that's what drew me to Syracuse besides Bryant Stratton.
Interesting. I went to Ed Smith, then Bishop Ludden, then Nottingham. And I've talked to people that are like, oh, if you sent your kids somewhere, like if I have kids someday, which I hope if it all works out, but I used to think the same thing. They're like, well, what if the education is not as good at Nottingham as it was at Ludden? And I'm like, that's a trade-off because there is a different culture at Nottingham, which I find to be, for at least my experiences in my life, far more not just important but healthy, if that makes sense.
It is. I didn't want, racism is everywhere, right? But I didn't want it to be so smack in his face where as a black man, he just didn't have the opportunities that he needed in life. And at the time I was only 16 years old, right? Thinking about these types of things because of the way that I was being treated by other youth in that particular community, and not just youth, but adults, right?
Sure.
Just being real ignorant about race, which is not something that we choose, right? So I just didn't want to create that for my son. I just wanted him to have a better opportunity, quite frankly. So I came here, and he did end up having better opportunities. I ended up having better opportunities, just more access to social services. At the time, I was just a teenager, no job, no nothing, going to college. So easier access to social services was better. There was more opportunity to get involved in things here. So I ended up staying. I've been here ever since.
Okay. I feel like prejudice and racism, it's always different depending on what your background is. Because I feel like I kind of experienced that at Nottingham and Ludden, but there's two different versions of racism. One comes kind of from a place of ignorance, but it doesn't come with the cruelty.
Yeah.
One comes from mean. Like Nottingham, I might get called like Chinese boy or something like that, and then we might go back and forth about that. But there's not that undertone of just like cruelty, I guess is the best word I can say. There's not that the force underneath it. It's like, oh, I'm saying something to you that like I'm throwing out kind of an observation about you. You know what it is? I think I would get Chinese boy at Nottingham, but I would get chink at Ludden. And there's a vast difference between those two and why they're being said, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
That's correct.
So,
because one, I feel like is almost curious and don't really know.
yes.
So trying to figure it out, like Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, not really sure. But they might not know the difference.
Sure. Yes.
Right? But just saying chink is just like, and whole.
Whole different.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a whole spectrum of things. And it does have a hate associated to it, for sure, not a curiosity.
That is the best way to put it. I think that and I hope to like teach my kids, if I have kids someday, that would be to know the difference between someone who just doesn't know, and because I've had people say ignorant things to me, but it's done in like warmth and love. And if you wanted to take it by a word basis, it's like, oh, they use the wrong word. I'm like, I don't care about the words. I care about the intent. You know what I mean? So, but yeah. So, okay. So let me ask you this. You bring up like, what is that? Like I say, everybody has their own experiences based on their own ethnicities, races, religions. Like something like living in Ithaca. Like what was that like? What is to break that down for someone who knows, doesn't know, thinks they know? Like, how would you break that down?
So a majority of the other Black people were my family, right?
Okay.
So it wasn't like there was a whole bunch of other people that I could meet, or there was an assumption. Typically, if you're Black, you know the other Black people in the community, which we usually did, right? Because there wasn't very many of us to begin with. So I didn't really see, too many teachers who looked like me. The principal never looked like me. But they did create spaces in like the community centers where I did see more students who looked like me. There were more cultural things to do, different ways of celebrating Black History Month, those types of things. It got me into community theater. Those types of things were really important. When I was younger, I got to sing for Jesse Jackson when he was running for president, which was super cool, and be in different types of community plays, which just kind of got me involved, right? But like being a cheerleader, the cheerleading squad was about half and half. It was 12 girls, 6 were girls of color, 6 were white. Right. And they could have did that intentionally or not. But we also didn't do what the rest of the cheerleading squads did. We didn't build pyramids and things like that. It was more of a dance squad than your typical high school cheerleading squad. So those were like some of the differences. Playing softball. I played almost every sport. I played softball. I played basketball. Just a very active kid in school because I got along with people very well. So once they got to know me, it didn't matter of how dark my tan was, right? Mm-hmm. But before that, they might have been a little standoffish. But what's interesting about my childhood growing up is that I didn't really fit in anywhere. I didn't really fit in Ithaca, and I didn't really fit in at home in Chester, Pennsylvania either, where people will be like, why do you talk like that? I've literally gotten that from other Black people all of my life. Like, why do you talk like that? And I'm like, talk like what? Right? Because I don't know. I don't know what they're talking about because that's how I've always communicated. But what I realized is that when I was in high school, I set my mind to graduating on time, but I needed to graduate with a skill so I could take care of this baby. So I went to BOCES, and my kids didn't have that as an opportunity when they went to school here in Syracuse. I did summer school to finish classes, went to BOCES because I wanted to work in an office. I didn't want to do what the rest of my family was doing. I didn't want to be called in on the weekends. That was really the thing. So I wanted to work in an office and I had a computer. So I went to BOCES for that. Learned how to type, how to answer the phone, how to shake someone's hands, like little soft skills that you find that people don't really have anymore when you just hire them, right? Like I just hired a young man at the Gifford Foundation not too long ago, and he wasn't sure how to address an envelope, right? So like the whole generational thing where I'm like, you don't know where to put the stamp at? I'm so confused. Right? Like you want to mail something? Why can't we just email it? Right?
Yeah. I would never have thought about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, but we still mail stuff out at Gifford. So going to school and getting those soft skills that I wanted really helped me in my trajectory and figuring out what I wanted to do and what I wanted to be in life so that I could make sure that I took care of this kid. But wasn't a lot of opportunities to do stuff in Ithaca. It was just like, well, I want to do something that nobody else necessarily wants to do. So I can't do it here. So I need a bigger platform. I needed a bigger platform, but didn't really know that then.
When you came to Syracuse, what was it like? What was like the immediate association? Like, what did it feel like?
I immediately went to where a majority of the black people live. I went to the South Side, and I loved it. Like it was like being home. It felt like I was back in Chester, Pennsylvania. Like the vibe was great. The barbecues were great. Like people were cooking out. Didn't really have corner stores in Ithaca, so I really started to love like the corner store. Like wow, you get all the best snacks. Like these types of things that I really had been opened my mind to. Like we had penny candy stores and stuff like that in Chester, but I don't remember like a corner store. It's more like a bodega in Chester, so more like a New York City style stores there. So it was different here, and I loved it. Like I seen other people who look like me. There were people in the college. There was professors, like, and not just people who look like me. People who look different. Right? So all these different races, different abilities, all of that. And I loved it, right? Because that opens your mind to stuff that you don't know anything about. Because I only know my own struggle and my own pathways. But I'm really empathetic, so it's important to me to understand other people.
It's interesting because I realize in my day-to-day, I don't have a lot of conversations in the spectrum to like think about the things that we're talking about now to any real degree. Like somebody can ask me questions, but it's different when somebody shares their experiences. When I went to school, it was the first time I went to a place called Flushing, and like I visited some friends in Flushing, Queens, and it's the first time I'd ever been in a predominantly Asian environment. And it was interesting because I remember feeling like immediately like a relaxation of just like I'm not being looked at in any way other than like I don't have to watch somebody's eyes like while they're talking to me go up and down my face, or we're just talking. And then I had the immediate fear of like, but this is almost like a fake reality because this is not the world I live in, and this almost feels too comfortable in some ways. But I would say that the negotiation of that's why I feel so much more comfortable in diverse kind of environments. I think that sometimes I'll say like I would rather be in, or I'll say to people in an environment where I might be more physically unsafe than I will be more socially not accepted, because I can take being in a place where like, okay, I need to figure out my surroundings and like where does this and that fall, but a place where there's no physical danger, but you don't fit in there, and you're also the only one of that person there, and you just feel I hate that. I hate that above almost anything else. So I'll avoid those situations at almost all costs, even to business detriment sometimes. So, but yes, it's interesting to hear you talk about. I get you go to a place and you're like, what you look like is no longer on your mind, and that's a huge thing that you don't realize. At least I didn't realize until I didn't have to worry about it. I was like, wow, that's different. You know what I mean? So.
But they could tell that I was, even when I was with people who looked like me, they could still tell I was different.
Okay.
And why, I don't know. Maybe because I was raised in Ithaca. I'm not really sure. But I guess my mannerisms are a little bit different. My vocabulary is a little bit different. So, and anywhere I go, I could be with my people and they'd be like, you're different.
Okay.
And I'm not really sure what it is that makes me different. But I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem with being different. Because I'm never really a person who wants to blend in the first place.
Okay.
So I'm okay with being different. But what's interesting to me, though, is that I used to being comfortable in a space where a bunch of people look like you, and then being uncomfortable in a space where people don't look like you, but then also being uncomfortable in a space where you could tell that you're in an elite space. I don't know if you've ever.
What do you mean by that?
So, socioeconomics.
Okay.
Right? When you're with elite individuals that you know are the presidents of Key Bank and the president of National Grid, these people who are being paid what I couldn't even imagine, right, to be paid. They have yachts and boats and they're living on Skinny Atlas Lake.
Right.
Right? Those individuals. And being in philanthropy, I tend to be around those individuals often. And it's probably the most uncomfortable space for me. Only because I feel like we don't have anything to talk about.
Sure,
right?
sure.
Yeah. Right. So they're talking about their kids' private school, or now their child is at Harvard, and I don't have a boat. I've never been to Paris.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
So it's almost like they're unable to talk about everyday stuff.
Sure.
Without that part coming into a conversation, or they want to measure whether or not you're on their level. So like, well, what do you do? Oh, what's your job title? And in those spaces, I always get a really?
Okay.
Right? So when I'm like, because it's very rare that I tell people my position at Gifford, because either they're going to be really shocked about it, or they're not going to believe me. So usually people are like, really? Either way, a good or a bad, really.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
About being the executive director there, which is interesting because in the elite space is where I get the, really? Like,
Okay.
Like, they hired you? I'm like, they did. That's crazy, right?
How do you navigate that?
I really take it in strides. When I was first hired at Gifford for the executive director role, I was already at the foundation for 12 years before I was able to even apply for this particular role. And when it was announced and we had conversations with there was nonprofits who were like, we're never going to get a grant from Gifford ever again now, right? And my response to that is, well, I'm glad you know where my values fall.
Fair. Okay.
See what I'm saying? Because, okay, you're probably right about that. Because I lead with equity, diversity, and inclusion in all decisions that I make. And if we've had years and years of conversation with you and you've done nothing about it, then you probably will not receive a grant from the foundation again.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to make that exception for you, because why should I? Right? So that's how I navigate it. Sometimes I make a joke about it. A person to come in the office and assume that I'm the receptionist because I came to the door to greet them. Feel like, I'm here to see Sheena. I'm like, I am Sheena. The executive director? Yes, that would be me. Like, oh, okay. That's not no surprising, right? Or people be like, well, where have you been? I'm like, well, in April, I've been at the foundation for 19 years, Solon. Okay? They're like, where have you been? And I said, well, they used to keep me underneath the stairs.
I love that. Okay, fair. Yes. Do you love your job?
I do.
What do you love most about your job?
Wow. What do I love most about my job? I think that there's a couple of things. The first thing that I love about my job is that it's a private foundation, so we don't receive like political pressure or donor pressure or anything like that. Like, the foundation can make a stand and it be okay. We pretty much make our own decisions about what's best for people, not for things. We're very people focused, right? And very embedded in community. The city of Syracuse, Onondaga County, Madison, Oswego County. That's our focus. But I would say probably 90% of our funds stay in Onondaga County because that's where the mass population is at, right? So I love the fact that it's people focused and it has flexibility.
Okay.
I love that. I also love being in a field where you don't see very many people who look like me at this C-suite level. It's very rare. I would say out of philanthropy in the United States, Black women who lead foundation is 1%. So we're like unicorns. And I love sharing this story with other girls of color to say, you can do this. Like, I was a teenage mom. I was pregnant in 10th grade. I was 15 years old. That did not stop my life from progressing.
Sure.
right? Like you can get over whatever hurdle, whether you created it yourself or whether it was dealt to you. You can figure it out, right? So being able to do that, I love that. Um, and I love impacting people's quality of life. I love the fact that I can call Mayor Owens and ask her a question and help somebody in community, or call Syracuse University to open up the door that creates opportunity for people. Because if nobody opened up a door and created opportunity for me, I would have never ended up where I ended up. So I pay it forward is huge for me.
Who was the person that you would, if there's one person that opened the most opportunity or gave you something that without which you would not be the person or where you are today, who would that person be?
It can't be one person, Solon.
Okay, give me one. Give me one. Give me the one that just inches above somebody else. Like, yes.
I got to give you two, Solon,
Okay.
because without my mom, I wouldn't be here.
Fair.
Right? Like she has supported everything I've ever done, whether it was good, bad, or indifferent. So I can't not love her unconditional love. I wouldn't be here without her, period. Professionally, Kathy Goldfarb Finley, she was the executive director at the Gifford Foundation who hired me. And she saw potential in me that I did not see in myself. She encouraged me to go back to school and get my bachelor's degree. When I started, I had an associate's degree at Gifford, and she encouraged me to go back to school. She helped me get into SU and the adult version of SU, and then I continued my education from there. She also got me a coach, and she was very intentional about getting me a Black woman leader coach. Because as a white Jewish woman, she said to me, I don't know what it's like to be a Black woman, and I want you to have a Black woman to help you figure out where you want to go, where you want to be. Because I can't help you be that, because I have no idea how it is to be a Black woman. And I appreciated that. She's also the first person ever in life to call me middle class. When you're a teenage mom and you struggled all of your life, you have no idea what middle class looks like, right? And one day she called me middle class, and that was almost like an insult. Like, what? No, I'm not. Right? Like, what are you talking about? And she's like, well, let's see, you have a house, you have a car, you take your kids to dance lessons, like you take them out to eat, like, and I'm like, first of all, I never thought about that because my life has always been focused on the struggle. Like, I gotta do better, gotta provide for the kids, gotta do this, gotta do that. And she's like, so I need you to stop using that same tool of struggle and fight for everything that you do, because you have more tools in your tool belt than you've realized. And that was probably the best thing that anybody's ever said to me, because I didn't even realize I was doing that.
If you don't mind me asking, what is she doing today?
She passed away. It was probably one of the worst losses for me, because she was like a mom, like a real mentor. When did she pass away? It might have been... Dirk Sonneborn was still the executive director at the time. I've been in the role now, I think, for 7 years. So it might be a good 10 years that she's been away. But her picture is on my desk in my office. And I celebrate her birthday every year. So, and I still talk to the picture as if she's still here. But she was a true mentor for me. Like, really one of the only people that's like, you know what, let me take your hand and help you with this, because I know that you can do it, even though you don't believe that you can do it. Because I worked there for like a year and asked her at least once a month, what did you hire me for? Because I have no idea what I'm doing. And she's like, read the proposal and give you your opinion. Well, how many jobs ask you for your opinion? Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, so you really want to know what I think? And she's like, yeah, read it and tell me what you think. Like, okay. And sometimes what I thought, she's like, I've never thought of that, first of all. That's a very interesting perspective that you bring to the table. And they was starting to do community work. So I had already had those relationships in community anyway, from working at home headquarters prior. So I could just go in community and talk to people. I already had some street credibility, because you got to have street credibility, especially when you come in and people think that you're different, whether you look like them or not. They still want to know, what do you want?
Sure.
you know.
Sure. What is, I try to ask questions sometimes about things that I think people hear, they assume that they know, we just kind of gloss over, but within those spaces, I feel like that knowledge is like interesting to me. So I would ask, like, what does it feel like? What goes through your mind when someone sees something in you that you don't see in yourself?
I would say what goes through my mind is appreciation, because we don't know what we don't know, right? And sometimes the society and your surroundings convinces you that you're not good enough. And when I first had a coach who was Gwen Weber McLeod, whom I love, um, I was really going through imposter syndrome. And it wasn't because I was actually an imposter. It wasn't because I didn't know what I was doing. It wasn't because I didn't have the educational background to do it or the street cred, right? It was because people were treating me like I was an imposter. And she's like, you're acting like an imposter because people are treating you that way. So when you have people who treat you a way, or you see on TV that black women are not supposed to be doing that, right? Like, I can't go swimming. Black women, we don't do that. You know, I'm really not going to get my hair wet, but that's just an example. Right? But just like when you don't see something that you could do, then you don't assume that you could be that, right? So when somebody sees something in me, I feel such great appreciation for it, and I'm so thankful. Like, thank you so much for pointing that out to me. Like, I can do that. Like, thank you so much, right? Just like going to the gym and your trainer pushing you to do 10 more push-ups when you're like, I can't do it.
Sure.
Right? But you do it because you push yourself to do it. So I appreciate someone coaching me and pushing me in that way to be a better me.
It's so interesting how I think, at least I'll speak to my own experience. Having conversations like this, you think about like, how does this apply in my brain, like the concepts and the thoughts, and I just think race and ethnicity and religion and culture, it's so interesting because I feel like with like Asian people, I'd speak to Asian men or adopted Asian men, because I'm going to narrow it down to me, but I feel like you don't, because I'm thinking, what my version was never like something like in a job space, like what couldn't you do, at least in the things I've been interested in. I've actually been told like, oh yeah, I was going to get like an Asian guy for that, like for music video stuff. I'm like, it's meant in like love. It's not meant like in a bad way, but I think it's much more a socialization of what are our values, the value I hold outside of being someone who can create money, do a job, do these things. Like, what is the, not like, not even on an attractive level, but on a partner level. Like, what is the partner element that an Asian man holds in this society? And that's where I think I've had conversations that are super awkward to talk about with, like, in general, because it's like, it's just super awkward. But other Asian guys I've talked to, it's like, yeah, like we have value here, here, and here. But where we a lot of times don't have value is in a partner place. Like, it's like, oh, socially, that's where we're going to struggle the most a lot of times. And it's because it's like, we're not looked at in a societal way that you're saying, like on TV and movies and whatnot, as somebody who's like, oh, that's like a husband or that's a boyfriend. Like, that doesn't live within where we don't have that quality. And I think it's not something I talk about often, but I think that it's interesting, like, because people will say like, oh, like Asian people, like you don't deal with these things. I'm like, 100% we don't deal with those things. But here, being a minority in any capacity, you're going to deal with something. And this is what I think, at least for me, that's where I would pinpoint it. And I've never actually had somebody who is Asian on the podcast to talk about that, but that would be an interesting conversation. But to what you're saying, that's what like kind of hits home with me, where it's like that idea, what you're saying is, if you don't see yourself as this and you're never that, and society kind of says like, oh yeah, like the jokes are you would never be that, you start thinking like, this is digging a hole of what I don't think I am. So I think that's I appreciate that mindset with that. So
Yeah, it's almost like if you're a person that likes a challenge, right? I don't mind the challenge. Like, give me a 3,000 piece puzzle, and I want the challenge of putting that puzzle together, right? So when I originally thought about going for this role, the executive director at the time said, "Well, you probably should go back to school." And I said, "Well, I have a bachelor's degree. Why do I have to go back to school? You only have a bachelor's degree and you run the foundation, right?" And he looked at me and he said, "You know why?" And I said, "Well, then let's prove them wrong." Like, why? Like, I know this foundation from the front and back of my hand. I probably know it better than my own house, right? And so much time I spend there, right? And you're telling me that I can't get this role because I don't have a master's degree? Between my bachelor's degree and the experience, the 12 years I've given the foundation, I feel like it's more than a master's degree, you know? Or before I even got the bachelor's, I was told that other foundations wouldn't hire me. And I'm like, well, why not? I've been working at this foundation for like 5-6 years. Yeah. And people would just look at me and say, "You know why?" Like, "Oh, okay, that's an interesting challenge. Let's work on that." Because that's what society says. Why?
How did that kind of transpire then?
Basically, how it transpired is I said, I'm going to apply anyway. I shadowed him a little bit as well. And then I also, where my struggle was, is that I don't have what a white man has when he walks in the door. Like, he has this, I don't even know what you call it.
Okay.
When a powerful white man walks in a room, you know that a powerful white man has walked in a room, right? And I'm like, I don't have that presence. And him and I would have these honest conversations, right? Because you should have honest conversations about race.
I agree with that.
Have honest conversations at Gifford on a regular basis about race. Have honest conversation with my children about it. Like, let's talk about it, because we're in a world where nobody is the same, whether we're the same race or not, right? We might have some similarities. But so we had honest conversation about it. And through coaching, what Gwen said to me, she said, "You don't need what a white man has. You don't need that. You still walk in the room like you belong there." It could be a real walk-in. It could be a fake walk-in. Put your costume on, which is whatever outfit I wear that day. Right? Make sure you look good, your hair, all that stuff, and you walk in there with complete confidence. And now when I walk in a room, it's very interesting because people say that to me, like, "Well, you just walk in a room like you belong there." I'm like, damn right, because I do. Right? Because you can't take that away from me. And so that was my own internal struggle with myself. Like, it's almost like the engine that could. You can do it, you can do it, you can do it. Coaching yourself in the mirror and all that stuff. Because everybody sees your glory, but nobody really knows your story or the struggle it took to even get to where you are, you know?
Yeah. I agree with having conversations about, I feel like that's one of the biggest issues I have with, like, I don't know, the society as a whole, or the left or the right, or what have you. Like, nobody wants to have, they want to have arguments, they want to have debates, but just having open conversations that aren't meant to win or lose, but just to share, they no longer exist. It's like, even the people that agree with you, like, "Oh, we agree? Yeah. It's like, let's talk about what we agree with. It's like, it's not a win or lose scenario. It's a growth scenario. And that doesn't happen often, I find, with these kind of conversations. But do you find yourself in difficult conversations about race? Do you find yourself in like inviting ones? Like, what is your experience with that when you engage in those?
I'm just honest about it, right? Because let's be honest about the fact that people use code words, right? Or someone come to me and be like, "You know what, Sheena, I really need your help being more connected to community." Like, well, what community we talking about?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand, yes. Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Or wanting me to be on a board. I'm open and upfront about it. Like, you want me to be on a board because of my role and my title at the organization? Is it because I'm a Black woman? What is the reason? Because I know you don't want me to just be on a board. There's usually a reason. So tell me what the reason is so then I can make a choice for myself.
Gotcha.
Because I don't mind being a token, but best believe I'm opening the door for other people, though.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the only person.
Yeah.
Right? I might be the first one, but I won't be the last.
Yeah. I'm of that same mindset where it's like, I'm not going to do dishonest or unethical things, but like, if you're hiring me to do this project and you don't have belief in it, but you have to check a box, I will do that project, and I will do what I need to do to get my business where it needs to go and do the things I need to do with it. And yeah, 100%. Yeah, I feel like, I almost feel like, again, I don't like to speak for anybody else, even in theory. So I'd say for myself, but I don't mind being a token either. Cause I think that in the space that I exist as that, I know I'm still going to bring me at the end of the day. So you can start off here, but we're going to end in a much better place. And I think that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think that sometimes the minority or my minority experience is I might be brought in for one reason, but true things come out of that, if that makes sense. And if I'm not open to that, then we're not getting anywhere. You know what I mean? So
absolutely. Absolutely. And I ask people all the time, are you sure? Are you sure? Because one, you just never know what I'm going to say.
Right.
You know, but I just feel like I'm in a space in life in general where it's no longer okay to just bite your tongue. Like, I choose my battles, of course, but biting your tongue for something that you should speak up about, or I hate going home and being like, I should have said, that's going to bother me. Like, why didn't you just say it right then and there?
Sure.
You know, and say it in a respectful way, but I'm still going to say the thing. If there's an elephant sitting right here, I'm going to say, well, does nobody else see the elephant? Because I can't see you across the table, Solon, because there's elephants right there.
Right.
You know?
Yes, 100%. Yeah, we're not even talking about the thing anymore because we're not addressing this thing. 100%.
That's right.
Yeah. Do you ever, in your experience, does it ever become exhausting though? Like, because I feel like on a long enough timeline, it would be like, okay, it's kind of like, I would say, like, I'm going to go out on a further limb here, but say like, it's what can I offer you? Or if you're a woman, it's like, this is what I want from you. It's like, okay, but past that, it's like, do you actually want me for what's beyond that? And when it's not, does it ever become just an exhausting thing?
It is very exhausting. Quite frankly, it's very exhausting. It's exhausting, one, to say the thing, right? And then leave and other people say, you were so right, blah, 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 but didn't say anything in the meeting, right? Or whatever situation it is. It's also exhausting just being the person and people expect you to do it, right? They expect you to be this person. I'm like a giver. And I would say years ago, I was an off the charts extrovert. And as I get older, I'm shifting a little bit, still extrovert 100%, but have some introvert tendencies. Like, being alone isn't an issue anymore. Like, I have learned, like, it's okay to sit by myself. It's okay to sit in silence because I have to figure out ways to refill my cup, right? Like, if I could go and get a pedicure every day, I would. Okay. Because it relaxes me, and I love it. It's something that I enjoy doing, right? And it's really a no decision making zone for me. So as a mother and a person that runs an organization and a person known to be a leader in community, you're making decisions all the time. I don't want to go home and figure out what's for dinner, but I don't have no choice to go home and figure out what's for dinner, right? But when I go see my nail tech, I don't want to pick out the color. She does everything. She picks out the design, the color. I give her artistic freedom. And people are always like, how do you trust her? Like, she's the artist, just like you're the artist, right? where people, when you're like, you know what, you should do this in a photo or video, right? They're
Right.
following your lead because you're the expert.
In the best circumstances, in the most rewarding experiences, yes. Yes. But yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need non-decision making zone. And what is so exhausting, I think, when I tend to be a dominant individual, I guess. And I don't even really see myself as this, but apparently I am, is what people tell me. That it's really hard to find someone to fill your cup because they're intimidated by your achievements. When I just see myself as an everyday person like everybody else.
Sure.
I wake up and put my pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else. I bleed just like everybody else. I get sad. All of the things. I just happen to be in a different type of role. But it doesn't make me not a human being. Right? So
Sure.
people are always like shocked when I'm like, go to a barbecue or like go to a local bar. Like, what are you doing in here? I'm like, because I like a cocktail sometimes too.
Sure. Yes.
Like I can't be outside with everybody else. It's like they sit you up on this pedestal that I don't want to be on.
Do you find partnership hard in that space? Because I know that like I have female friends that alone, if they make more than their guy, then like it's not like a public conversation, but they can feel that push, and sometimes to large or small, it's there, and no judgments, but they deal with that, and then some of it becomes, sometimes in some couples it becomes a lot worse, and other ones it does not. But I mean, do you feel that? That's a really personal question, by the way.
No, I feel it.
Okay.
I definitely feel it. It's almost like a male doesn't want you to be his equal, right? Which I'm a very domestic individual. I cook, I clean, all of those things, right? I had a husband for like 20 years. And I don't even know if it was our income that messed us up, or more of I really had these goals and passions, wanted to do this and wanted to do that. He really didn't want to, or race, because we were not the same race. He is Italian and I was Black, and I started to really get into equity work. And he struggled with that. Like, and one day he asked me, why does race matter? Race doesn't matter. And that was the day that I was like, I can't be with you. Because if you can look at our brown children and say that race doesn't matter, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Because they're going to go through some stuff that you're never had to go through. Right? And I'm like, yeah, we can be friends, but yeah, we can't be together. But that strong woman, and then you put the income on top of it where you can take care of yourself. It's like a partner doesn't want to take care of you at all. Like, sure, you can pay for dinner.
Right.
Sure, you can take me out. You can do all the things. Like, but even though I can pay for these things myself, it would be really great for someone to take
Sure. Yes.
That would be nice.
I think that's what you said about like, why does equity work, and like that conversation, or why does it matter, that conversation in like the business world, amongst friends, amongst all these things, but to have it in your family, I feel like that's such a heartbreaking moment. Because I think there are moments, I think we all have them, where somebody you love or you're with will say something where it jumps you for a minute, and you're like, that just seems, sometimes for positive, sometimes like, oh, I didn't know you had that in you in a positive way, and other ones where you're like, I didn't know you could think of it that way, in like in a painful way. But I think that one, I if you don't mind me asking, like in that moment, like how did your body and mind and everything react in that moment?
My first reaction is I don't think you can cuss on the podcast, so I'm not gonna.
Okay, fair.
But it was like, WTF? Like, seriously? Like, this is a real question when you grew up in a predominantly black community, you saw what happened in that community. You saw how you elevated in your role at work when there's no other black supervisor. How many black supervisors is it? Is what I would ask.
Sure.
And what did they have to do to get that role compared to what you had to do to get that role? Like, let's just be realistic. And when we're in the car and you get pulled over, I've never seen a police officer ask you to get out. Right? So, like, you can't even have the necessary conversation with our black son. Because at the end of the day, our son is still black. Right? And he's still going to have to deal with those things. Right? And even though he is an excellent father, the whole race thing, I had to educate my children on that. And like, I would take my kids to meetings with me. I've always been like an activist, not even knowing that I was an activist. And I didn't even realize it rubbed off on them until one day we were talking about something, and my son was like, he was on Facebook arguing with people. But I'm like, you on Facebook arguing with people? About race? Yeah, Mom, because blah, blah. I'm like, oh, you're probably gonna get kicked off.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Facebook is probably gonna suspend you, and that's exactly what happened. But in that moment, I was so proud. Like, you know what? I appreciate you standing up for what you believe in. Stand up for what you believe in, because you should. Why not? Right? So my children are not out marching, but they are advocating for themselves, and they understand the spectrum of racism.
It's interesting. I sometimes I think back on conversations, and I always like referencing people to give them credit to what their thoughts were. I don't know if this gentleman would want me to specifically say this just because of the job he's in, but he's a good dude, and he was talking about just what you're saying. He's like, I've never gone to a protest march, and I never will. He goes, that's not my lane. And we had a large conversation about that, and I thought, he's like, everybody assumes I would because I'm black. He goes, but that's not my lane. He goes, and here's the things I do, and here's the things I believe. And I thought, it's so I use the word heartbreaking too much, but it's so sad to me, and like on a soul level of just how much communication does not occur to help everyone kind of understand the actions and perspectives of other people in a way that is not trying to criticize, judge, or prove a point, if that makes sense. And I think like you say that to, I have friends on the left and right, and if you say it to one of my friends on the left, they would probably be like, oh, why would you never go to a protest? It's like, ask the person why and hear their answer, not to argue why they should, but to understand why they don't. And I feel like that's such a large part, because when you say things like that, I'm like, I think that the masses, half will be like, oh yeah, like, why are you going to those things? And the other half would be like, how could you not go? And it's like, there is a gray area of life that is so true that we just decide not to delve into or to live in, which is, I think, is the most beautiful part. It's the part that makes everybody unique and individualistic and themselves. And that's the part where it's like, I don't want any of that. I just want the easy, I can fit you here, here, here. I understand who you are based upon these 3 checkboxes, and we can move forward. You know what I mean? So, but yeah.
I get that 100%. Like, people oftentimes listen to respond. They're not listening to understand or to be influenced. Right? When that's what you should be doing. Because I agree with that person 100%. I'm not going to no protest. That's not my lane either. And I will say that loud and proud. My lane is decision-making rooms. That's where I create change. In those spaces where the doors close and people feel like they can say whatever they want to say, I'm in the room saying, no, we're not doing that.
Sure.
Right, that's a bad decision. Or are you not thinking about this, that, and the third, right? And I assume that one day they're going to stop inviting me into these rooms. They haven't just yet, which I appreciate, because I do speak up. Like, I don't understand why we're doing that. Like, let's talk about this type of thing. So I feel like that's where I impact my surroundings and people's quality of life. And it's not nothing that I need to put on a t-shirt.
100%.
Right? To say that I do it. I'm just doing it quietly because it's the right thing to do. When you do the right thing, when nobody's watching, that says a lot about you.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think the performative element of so much on all sides of things is just being force-fed through social media and everything else, and it almost becomes a point where you're like, if I don't do any of this, I will legitimately be mistaken for my motives or my ethics or the issues that I care about. And then I'm like, that's a wild state to be in right now, you know?
It is. It's interesting. The one thing that I like about Gifford is that I can't be involved in politics. And I don't even get involved necessarily personally because I can't really take the Gifford hat off. When people see me, that's what they see.
Sure.
Right? And I'm like, no, this is me personally. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Right? And so it gives me a slight little way out of the political stuff. But, you know, I still have views, but I feel like I have views of not whether you're red or whether you're blue. My view is like, who do you care about?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Right? Who do you care about? If you're doing it because it's the right thing to do for majority of the people, then let's have that conversation. Right? But if you're making selfish decisions that's just for you and 1% of the population, that's a whole nother conversation. Right? So for me, it's who exactly do you care about? Who is it for? Why are we making these decisions? You know, what's the intent behind them?
Yeah, I would, I think that people will call it thinking differently, but I think just not trying to have power over other people other than yourself and your own actions and your own direction, I think is a very lost art form. Even when I say words, I try to always not say like, I think people should do it. You should. It's like, even in the post, it's like, I want to use myself as the example because you can't hold me for what I hold myself towards. You know what I mean? I can do that. I'm allowed to do that. It's me. But, and as long as I'm not hurting anybody, or as long as I'm not trying to force anything right or wrong on anybody else, they know where I stand. They know what I believe by how I live. And that's the best I can offer to somebody, you know? So,
I agree with that 100% because I can't sit here and speak for all black women or black people because I don't know all their experiences and things. I can only speak for me, and that's it. I can only share my own experience. So I agree with you. One thing I'm really good at is staying in my lane.
Yeah, I use that. I heard that years ago. Somebody said, there was a buddy of mine who said, stay in my lane. I'd never heard that because I thought it's such a better way than saying minding my own business or mind your own business, like stay in your lane or stay in my lane. I love that. Yes.
Yeah. I like to stay in my lane, right? I mean, like, you know, I love highway driving. I do, especially when I get into a state that's 70 miles per hour or more. Oh,
You're going.
Yeah. I'm here for that, right? I'm here for it. But like, you can't stand it when somebody sits in the passing lane, right? It's a passing lane.
Yeah.
Stay in your lane. You just get over there to pass and come right back, right?
Yes.
And I feel like that's kind of how life should be. Like, jump over there for 5 seconds if you need to, but come right back and remember where you're going, the direction that you're going in, you know? Because too many people get in lanes that they shouldn't even be in.
Yeah. I think that's, and I would even say, I feel like, I agree that they get in lanes they should not be in. And the thing is, they don't even understand their own lane. So it's like, so at least if you want to start, and I feel like sometimes I know I'm getting outside of my lane when I'm engaging in an argument and I'm thinking, how do I win this argument versus do I actually believe this? And what is the point of why I'm in this conversation in the first place? Once my emotions are engaged, I'm like, I'm being drawn into something where I'm just going to feel worse after this conversation because I'm no longer trying to come to some understanding, or I'm not representing myself in a way that honors me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but yes. I'm also an Asian driver, so you know, I have my moments, but
that
yes.
stereotype is true. Is that what you're saying?
You know, Do you know where Nob Apartments is by any chance in Syracuse?
Yeah.
I remember I was there years ago, and I did a dumb move, and this guy did a dumb move, and we both got like angry at first, and we both noticed we were Asian, and we both started laughing, and we just drove away. Like, that is an unbelievable moment that I can't really explain completely to somebody, but I'm like, we looked at each other and we knew. So I was like, yeah, that's so. I don't know if it's a wholly correct thing, but I have a lot of Asian friends, and we're like, it might be a little bit true. So, but
it's
yes,
all good. I like fried chicken and watermelon, so it's fine.
fair. I do as well. So, but yes, something else I did want to talk to you about that when we had our meeting that really stuck out was the story about your daughter in school, because a lot of times I'll know where a story's going, and I didn't know where that story was going. And when you said it, not only did it resonate, I thought that's like, that would almost be like revolutionary to be like, we're gonna do this. So I'd love to have you explain a little bit of the backstory behind that, and then tell me like what you did and how it worked out, and then why you did it.
Yeah. So I have 3 children. They're all grown now.
Okay.
Amen to that. And 3 grandchildren, right? But while I was raising them, each one gave me a different challenge,
Okay.
right? But my middle daughter, I would have to go to school, for her often, because a lot of times a teacher doesn't like it when a student challenges them, and my daughter still isn't a person that you can just tell her something and she's just gonna believe it. Right? Like, she's like, I don't think that that's true. I think that it should be like this or blah, blah, blah. Which I raised her to be opinionated, and that might have went too far. Who knows, right? But she's opinionated. And I have a flexible job, and she was just having a really hard time getting to class. And I would have conversations with her like, what is so hard getting from one class to the next class? Why are you always late? What are you doing? Are they too far apart? What's going on? Oh, Mom, it's just hard, but you don't understand. You don't go to school. This is high school, Henniger to be exact. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to the school. So I talked to my job, like, I want to spend a week at the school. I'm just going to take my laptop. I'm going to work from there. I'm still going to work or whatever. And they're like, that's fine. As long as you get your work done. They didn't really care. I can read proposals from anywhere, right? So I went to school with my daughter. And I'm like, I want to see how long it takes to get from one class to the next class. Now, mind you, the the hallways are super duper crowded, right? Super crowded. Sometimes I go upstairs, downstairs. I was a little lost, right? But I'm just really following her. I'm navigating her. And it didn't take forever to get to the class. It's just a lot of socializing happening between one class to the next class. So
Sure.
She's socializing, right? Which is okay, but you still need to get your butt to class on time, sure. Right? And so I would sit in the class, and I would sit in the back of the room. And I'm not paying the students any attention. I'm doing my work, but I can still hear what's happening in my surrounding. And what I found is that when a student would say something inappropriate, they would stop and be like, I'm so sorry, ma'am. To me, I'm not even the teacher. Okay? I'm like, oh, okay. I'm just looking at them. Or they would say something, and I would look up and give them what I call a black mom look. Okay? It's a look that's like, no, you didn't say that. And every kid knows what that look is.
Right.
Okay? And they'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry. And teachers would say to me, like, the class was so different with you in it. And I'm like, well, it made me think about, why do we not welcome more parents in the school environment? Because it would change the students' behavior. When teachers are spending majority of their time dealing with behavioral issues instead of being able to give them the educational lessons that they need to get to the next class or the next grade or to pass a test, right? It's behavioral issues. And the teachers were so grateful that I was there just for that one short week. Like, our class was so different. Like, can you come back? And I'm like, well, I can't work from here forever. I came here for my kid.
Right.
It wasn't about everybody else's kid. And it wasn't embarrassing to my daughter. At least I don't think it was, because I didn't interact. Most of the kids didn't even know I was her mom, right? So I told you I was in an interracial relationship. So my daughters are Black and Italian, but they almost look Spanish. So most of the time, people didn't even believe that their mom was even black in the first place. So people didn't assume that I was her mother. I'm sure they assumed that I was another black girl's mother in the classroom, because for whatever reason, people don't believe that I'm my children's mother. Because wherever society thinks that it's usually a white woman and a black man when you have interracial children, which I don't know what the percentage of that is, and maybe that is the most popular, connection. But people would always look at my kids like, your mom is black? Really? And they're like, yeah. What's wrong with that?
Do you mind if I asked on a side note, did they ever get teased for that? Was that something they ever took like any kind of negativity for, or was that, and I ask because I'm adopted, so I'm just curious, which is not the same as having interracial parents, but your parents don't necessarily look like you. So did they ever have anything like that or no?
They never got teased for it, as far as I know. But I mean, quite frankly, my children, all three of them, wore it with pride. It was a real pride thing to them. They were proud to tell someone that their mom was black. When my youngest daughter was in maybe first grade or second grade, the teacher asked her, like, is your mom white? And she's like, no. She's like, is your mom black? And she's like, no. And she's like, is your mom like Native American? Like, well, what is she? She's like, my mom is brown, is what she told her. And he's like, oh, because to a child, black looks like the color, like it's very dark. And she's like, my mom isn't black, she's brown. And I told her, baby, mommy's pecan tan. That's what I said. That's really what I am. But
fair,
so she started telling people that. When you tell a kid something, they start repeating it. Yes. But I'm like, that's okay, because I like being pecan tan. But yeah, they really wore it with pride. And it's interesting because they would interact with other interracial children and would come home and say to me, Mom, I can tell that their mom is not black. Just by the way that they would talk to their mother or the way that they would act a certain way. And my kid's like, yeah, my mother would never accept this behavior at all. She would never accept that behavior. So it is interesting when they interact with friends and other people who are interracial, a product of an interracial relationship, where they're real proud to be like, oh no, my mom is black, real fast. Fair. Because I think that they feel like that sends a message that they were raised slightly different.
To bring it back to the school story, did you get any feedback from your daughter from that day?
I think that she never wanted me to come back to the school again. She was getting to class on time and like doing the right thing. And I actually started to have parent-teacher conferences at the high school because I needed the teachers to understand that I'm here to support my daughter. If she's doing something she shouldn't be doing, you contact me. Don't get in a confrontation with a child.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
And I tell my daughter the same thing. If your teacher is not doing what you feel like they should be doing for you, then you contact me and I advocate for you. Don't get into it with an adult because that's disrespectful, right? And that's kind of what was happening. So if I had a parent-teacher conference in the beginning of the year, the teachers know what I expect from them and I know what they expect from me, and my child sees the conversation and hears and understands what we expect. But they don't have parent-teacher conferences in high school, Solon. I had to really push for it because I felt like it was important to my daughter's education.
I've never thought about it. Yeah, it's mostly elementary school where you have that. Yeah. I was thinking when you afterwards, I'm like, in the immediate sense, I think most kids would hate their parents being there. But I thought if you did normalize it though, and it became a thing where parents are going to be here constantly, I feel like it would be undeniable that there would be some difference going on.
Yeah. She loves me now, but I don't think she liked me that much then.
That's the age, though. That's,
it's the age. Like, my parents, I can't stand them. They don't understand all of those things. And it's like, no, that's what I do understand. But I want you to do better than I did.
Do you mind if I ask, how did you and your husband meet? Like, what was the moment?
We met at Bryant and Stratton.
Okay.
Yeah, we met at Bryant Stratton. He was in accounting, and I was doing like administrative. Um, like I ended up going to college for business management, but I started in administration. So that's what I got, the associate's degree in administration. Uh, and we just ended up meeting in college and hitting it off. When I met my husband, I had already had the child that I had in high school. And I really actually think that it was that child that brought us together. He loved my son so much. Like, I think it was more about him than it was about me. It's like I was just a part of the package. But he loved my son, and my son loved him. And so he would babysit for me when I had to work. So I was going to college and working. So he would babysit for me and all those things. And we just end up, developing a family. And then after a little bit, our first child came along. Him and I had 2 daughters together.
Okay.
So I think it was really my son. My son would come and visit me at college because my sister would take care of him for me, so I could have I think I had a semester of dorm life until I moved out. And my sister watched my son for me during the weekday, and then she would bring him to me on the weekends. And that's how he got to meet my son. And they became friends. And then, like I said, I think I was just part of the package.
What do you want for your kids in life?
So, that is an interesting question. So I call my children my 3 heartbeats, because when you have a child and you raise them and then they go out into the world, it's almost like your heart is on the outside of your body. It's how that feels to me. Like, those 3 people mean the world to me. And their children mean the world to me too, but I didn't give birth to their children. I love my grandchildren to death. But their parents mean the world to me. And people are always like, oh my goodness, like, you're so successful. And I'm like, the job part is not success for me. The fact that I didn't raise 3 assholes is success to me.
I love that.
That's success, because my 3 children, who are adults, are doing well in life. And it's not like, oh, they graduated from Harvard and they did this thing, right? It's the fact that they care about themselves, the fact that they care about their children. My son, who I was only 16 years old and had, is a Syracuse firefighter. Like, I couldn't ask for more. He's out putting his life on the line every day, right? And he was born to a teenage mom. He was never a drug dealer, a gangbanger, never shot anybody, he's never been in jail. None of those statistics that come with being born to a teenage mom, right? So for me, that is success. And my middle daughter works with children with autism. That fills my whole heart. It fills my whole heart, because you have to love that to do that. So she's a servant in community, just like her brother is a servant in community. And she is a wonderful mother. Just to watch her being a mother is success to me. Like, that's all I want for them, is the best of everything. And then my youngest daughter, she works at Krause.
Okay.
Right? So she's not a nurse or anything like that, but she's your first person that you interact with when you go into those spaces, when it's usually the worst day of your life. Right? So that's also, to me, service to community, right? And getting your information for the hospital and all of those things. And now she has a child as well. And watching her mother, her daughter, which is my only granddaughter, which is... having a granddaughter is super awesome. Like, it just fills up my whole cup. And I feel like, you know what? Well done. Well done. The kids are well. If anything ever happened to them, they all know they can always come back. I'm there, whether you're an adult or not. Because, Solon, I still call my mom. I still call her, whether it's for comfort, whether it's because I need a recipe, whether it's because I just need to go to her house and lay my head on her lap because I had a really bad week, right? That's all I want for my children. is to know that no matter what they do in life, I am there, unconditional love, 100%. That's all I want for them.
What do you if you could step outside of yourself, what would that person want for you?
That person would want someone to care about me as much as I care about others. I feel like that's what that person would want for me, because I feel like that's something that I've always been missing in life. I tend to give, but not, and I'm not that great at receiving. But just having a person love me the way that I love other people.
Where do you think that comes from, the inability to receive as well, but that need to give, and that deep rooted in that quiet place desire to have that?
I think it's just a stigma of someone giving you something, so you feel like you need to give them something back, even though I don't feel that way about other people. I do things because I want to do them, not because I want something back from you.
Sure.
If that makes any sense. And that's in my personal and my professional life. I don't do things for people because I'm like, oh, now you're going to owe me, Solon. Right? Never, ever do I think that way. But that's how I receive.
Sure.
Right? Like, okay, this person is giving me something, so, well, okay, what do I have to give back to them? Or are they going to hold that over my head? Or maybe I've had too much interaction with people who do things to say that they did them.
Sure. Yeah.
And that bothers me. Don't do something for me and then tell the whole world that you did that for me.
Yeah.
Because that means you didn't do it for me. So I have an issue. I struggle with receiving, particularly in a relationship.
No, that's 100% understandable. Where do you think that comes from? Like, I genuinely mean, like, where is that born from?
You know, I think that it really comes from for me personally, the stigma of being a strong Black woman. Like, that attachment, I hate it, because people are like, but you're such a strong Black woman. And it's like, okay, that's what you might see from the outside, but there's softness on the inside. I struggle with some decisions sometimes. I cry just like other people. Like, my heart gets broken too. Like, decisions are hard for me. You know, like, why do I have to be strong all the time? Like, is that even a possibility? Right? But then I feel like I need to be, because that is what people are expecting. Right? So you can't give me something because I'm strong and I'm independent. I don't need anything from you. And I think that is like a hard stigma to get from under until you get that right person that just loves you so much that you're like, oh, okay. You know, yes, you can take care of me, type of thing, right? Without, and that person that doesn't make you feel like you owe them something. Like, well, I gave you breakfast in bed yesterday, now it's your turn. Like, what? Why can't I have breakfast in bed every day?
I would wonder, ethnicity, race, culture aside, I feel like I'm going to guess that, probably not culture aside, because I feel like in general, like, I would guess, and I hesitate to say this, but I would guess that women are oftentimes more of the givers than men are. So I feel like to find that as a man, it's probably, I'm gonna think, easier and more common than for a woman to find a man that brings that energy, if that makes sense. So, and I then think, given that you have that, like that stronger element, that's also going to be intimidating to even more sections of the male species. So I think that, which do you think that makes you stronger, or do you think that makes you, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if it makes me stronger or not, because I'm not the type of person that looks at titles. That stuff doesn't mean anything to me.
Sure.
You know, like, I don't need to be with the CEO. I could be with a janitor.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. That's the trash man. Like, stuff like that doesn't matter to me. It's about how you treat me and how you make me feel. Right? That matters to me. So and half the time I don't think that people necessarily even believe that. Like, no, like, you're way out of my league. And I'm like, well, what's your league? Or I get friends and family say, why are you with that person? They're not even in your league, in your ballpark. And I'm like, what does that mean? If they make me happy, who cares what that person does for a living?
Sure.
Right? Like, if he was a stripper, Solon, as long as he comes home and strips too.
I got you.
Right? Like, it's fine. It's fine, right? And it's about people. To me, it is totally about people, and not even necessarily about gender either. It's about people.
Yeah.
Who are you as a person, and how do you make me feel?
I think if that were the approach and that were the energy, a lot of things would be different in a lot of ways. So
You're probably right about that. And I don't know if it's uncommon. I hope other people think that way. Because if you're a believer in equity, right? Not equality, equity, right? Then you treat people the way they want to be treated, not the way you want to be treated. Right? You're giving somebody what they need, because we don't all need the same thing. We don't fit the same shoe. We don't wear the size clothes. It's giving you what you actually need. And that's actually something that society needs to figure out, because we're always trying to silver bullet stuff, right? Put it in a batch, right?
Sure.
Create programming in a box with no elastic that it can move. So we're trying to fit a circle into a square all the time, instead of just being like, what does this person actually need? So even though you haven't asked me this question, Solon, I'm going to tell you that my dream in life is that I want to hit the lottery. But first I got to play. It's not even play, but I want to hit the lottery.
Okay.
If I hit the lottery, I would love to start my own foundation. And I don't even want the foundation to have a building or anything. I want to go sit out at the bus hub, and I want to talk to Stacy and ask Stacy what she needs. And if Stacy says, you know what, I really wanted to be in cosmetology, but I still need 20 more hours. I'm going to say, you know what, Stacy, I'm going to help you get your 20 more hours, and I'm going to pay for 1 year of your storefront. What would that do for Stacy's life? Giving that person what they need to be successful and have a good quality of life. It's going to change her life. It's going to change her kids' life. It's going to change her family's life. That's how you change quality of life, by caring about what that person actually needs at that moment, right? And then figuring out, can I open that door? And whether Stacy walks through that door or not is Stacy's choice now, right? It's Stacy's choice on whether she takes on and finishes that cosmetology class and then opens up that building that's already paid for a year. Taking barriers out of the way. We just like putting barriers in the way of programming and everything. Like, oh, no, if you don't live on the south side, you can't be a part of this program. If you don't make enough money, no, you can't do that. If you know what I'm saying? Like, your life expectancy shouldn't depend on your zip code. It's crazy.
I feel like you'd be good at many jobs, but from that monologue alone, you're in the right job. I love that.
Thank you. Maybe one day I'll get to do it, but I got to learn how to play the lottery. My dad was a huge lottery player, and he died like 3 years ago. And every time I would try to play the lottery, I would call him. And now the lottery is like kind of sad for me because I can't call my dad and ask him. But I'm like, Sheena, you're smart. You can figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. And I'm going to win the lottery. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it.
I think it seems like you've kind of already won a lottery, but I hear what you're saying. And I think that if you do win the other lottery, help me out.
I got you. I got you. I'm going to have a Solon Quinn fund. And you're going to get all those stories outside, Solon. All the stories that the world needs to hear.
I think I might just appear in the mountains. I'm like, listen, I'm just going to go to the mountains for a while, and then, I'll see you in like 20 years, and, but.
We'll see you in 20 years.
Let me ask you one last question. This is a question I like to ask everybody, but I feel like I kind of look forward to your answer without too much pressure. If you wanted to say, or if you could say one thing to the world, what would it be? What would you want to put out there?
If I could say one thing to the world, what would it be? Honestly, in today's world, I would say stop it. That's what I would say. I would say stop it. Because we're doing too much. We're doing too much. It's impacting people. It's taking away lives. It's decreasing quality of life. Like, just stop it. Why? Why are we doing the things that we're doing? It really just doesn't make any sense. So, if I was to speak to the world today, that's the first thing that comes to mind for me, is that I would ask them to just stop it. Like, stop it. Stop shooting each other. Stop school shootings. Stop domestic violence. Like, all of the things. Because in the profession that I'm in, I hear a lot of the bad stuff. Because most nonprofits develop from something that happened, whether a person got cancer or domestic violence or children being trafficked, like whatever the thing is, they're trying to solve problems that we're not going to live to see being solved, right? And that's really what I want to do in life. I want to fight to solve problems that I will most likely not see solved, but hopefully it makes it better for my grandchildren. So hopefully one day they will stop it so that my grandchildren can live their full lives.
I love that. I think that's I knew it was gonna be good. I knew it was gonna be good, but I really, that was, Well, I appreciate you doing it. That was pretty cool.
Thank you. This has been wonderful. I feel like we should talk more often.